it's the Beginner Crafter. Welcome to another WIPTube and WIPMAS. I think WIPMAS is more important right now. So I worked on the gauge swatches for the Chiara Jacket test knit, and my stockinette gauge swatch is huge, is absolutely off gauge. Not only there are too few stitches in the swatch, even bigger than the loose stitching, but also, and this is much more, much worse news, the percentages of the proportions are not correct, which would mean that my yarn is not correct for this project. So that's a little bit more worrying. However, I decided to make another swatch, this time with 3.5mm needles. And this is yet pre-blocking, so I don't know what it's going to look like. However, I feel like it is a little better. It's still going to be a loose stitching. But I think the proportions are slightly better, so that would make the yarn usable for this. I also made the basket weave gauge swatch, however it is still a little bit damp, so it's still being blocked. I will dampen the stockinette swatch in a moment so that it can be blocked as well, and we'll see how that works. So that's a little worrying that my swatches don't look good. And like I said, it's not so much the number of stitches themselves, because that can be changed using different size needles. The bigger problem is the proportions. If the proportions are not correct, then I need to look for a different yarn, and this can be problematic to get that quickly around Christmas time. So yeah, that's not going to be fine if it's like that. I hope it's not like that, so please keep your fingers crossed for me. Then I also worked on the Forresten socks, because that's what the wheel chose as my second focus piece, and this is how far I've got. Let me just put some shade. So yeah, I stitched, I think, 6 from here. So 6 rounds. I'll remove it because it's going to make the thing a bit weird. I almost doubled what I had, so that was quite good progress on it. But this is also another example of me stitching loose, because I'm using I think 2mm needles, and the pattern calls for 2.5 or even 3. So I do knit loosely. I hope everything works correctly. I guess socks are a bit easier to adjust because they're smaller. So even if I can't adjust, I can redo them, and then they will work fine. But you know, it's still a toe. I still need to almost double what I have to finish the toe part. So it's still a long way to go. But at least there's progress. And the last project I worked on were the Extraordinary Birds Stitch Along. So here's what it's going to look like once it's finished. And here is what it looked like before I started stitching. And to be honest, there's not much progress because I only stitched 50 something stitches today. I did not have a lot of time. And I stitched on that bird here. And I did put 3 stitches in this bird. And this is it. I haven't stitched on anything else, or I couldn't stitch anymore because today wasn't really a day when I had a lot of time for stitching. And tomorrow is probably going to be even worse because I start work at 8 a.m. and I finish work at 7 p.m. because I have my lessons, then I have staff meeting, and then I have teacher-parent meeting. There is a chance that I will have a pre-period and that during the teacher-parent meeting, none of the parents will want to come to me and speak with me. So then I will have some time, but I think I will mostly be stitching on the mochila bag because that also needs some progress. I'll see whether Inge will post something on the test part, and I'll check tomorrow morning if I manage to wake up this early and be more or less conscious about what I'm doing. I'll check my gauge swatches, and if they're still not correct, I'll try to stitch on them, like stitch a new gauge swatch tomorrow. I think I'll just in case pack already my small mochila bag and the ball that I have been using for swatching. And maybe smaller needles. Although I have a feeling that with the basket weave with the basket weave stitch gauge swatch, I might actually be better off with 5.5 millimeter needles. I think 5.25 would be perfect, but I don't know if these exist, if I have them. But I didn't check that very well because I put my gauge swatch that I have like on top of what I have at the moment being blocked, which means it's held by these thingies. So it's in air, so I can't really count correctly at this point. However, with basket weave stitch, I think I'm pretty close to where I need to be. With stockinette, it's a much bigger problem. I don't know what it's going to look like tomorrow. And I don't know how to help myself. Yeah. I mean, the wool is 100% merino wool, not superwash, which is what Inge suggested. The tension should be 21 by 28. I have 15 by 25, the big one. So that's really not what it's supposed to be. So I don't know what to do. We'll see. I just hope it works. Because Inge has options for when you stitch too loosely or too tightly, if it's not like too big of a difference. So you change the size of the jacket that you actually stitch, which might also be a bit problematic for me because I think the biggest number that we need to check is the cross back, something like that. And I checked it today. I asked my friend to measure me. I measured a sweater that I was wearing, and our numbers were quite consistent between 44.5 and 45.5 centimeters. The biggest size Inge has is 40.5 centimeters. So either I'm really wide at the shoulders, or I don't know. So we'll see what happens. I guess I'll have to write to Inge and ask what she suggests, if she can suggest anything, and we'll see how that works. So yeah, that's what I have when it comes to my swatching. So tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how much time I'll have, because I'll be home around 8 p.m. After taking my dog for a walk. So that will leave me 4 hours to do anything. So not a lot of time, and I probably will be exhausted. So I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to stitch or do anything, but I'll try. I mean, I either will stitch on the test knit or at least crochet the mochila bag, but even if I do stitch the mochila bag, I don't think I'll bring it home to show it. Maybe if I remember, I'll take a photo at least to show the progress. Yeah, because I showed it at the beginning of the month, but I don't think I took a photo, so it won't be that easy to see the change, because I also don't think I'll do very much on it tomorrow, even if I have the time. So we'll see how that works out, but I will spin the wheel today, just with hopes that I will be able to get some progress done on that project as well. So now to have at least a nice part of the day tomorrow, the US candy calendar. I ate yesterday's candy, and it was supposed to be like toxic waste, hazardously sour. It was not sour at all. I mean, there was a bit of sourness, but it was mostly sweet. So a bit of false advertising there, but in this in this case I'm quite happy about that, because I'm not a fan of sour taste. So the 10th of December that we just started is, ooh, that's something I had not even heard about, and that's Nerds Rope candy. Very berry. Sweet and crunchy outside, soft and chewy inside. So it seems like some kind of jelly gum thing sprinkled with like little rocks. Yeah, something like that. So we'll see what it tastes like. I've never heard about it before, so I don't know what it's going to taste like. They don't say it's sour, so it should be good, but possibly very, very sweet, since they do say it's sweet. So we'll see how that works. Okay, and the last part is the wheel. and it's the fairy. That is not the best option. Unfortunately, this is really not a good day for the fairy. Because I won't really have the time to stitch on it. I will try to make some small progress on it, maybe 4 beads, so that there is one thingy like that in here. Although I think I'll be stitching from this area here, because I think the beads go like this. So I'll try to bead at least 4 beads. I mean, I guess if the gauge swatches come all right and Inge doesn't post anything new for us to do, it should be fine. Because then I'll stitch mochila bag at school and then have the 4 hours to stitch on the fairy. So even if it doesn't go very well because of the artificial lighting and me being tired after the whole day, I should be able to stitch some. But if my gauge swatches don't work, or we actually get some pattern to stitch, like a part of the jacket already, then it's going to be a bit more problematic. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, I'll need to finish the video now because I need to get some sleep. And also remember, I have to edit that video, so the shorter it is, the better for me to actually post it tomorrow. If you've liked the video, please click the thumbs up, it is appreciated. Leave a comment down below and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see the progress on all the WIPs, all the projects that I've shown you already or maybe will happen in a short time. Thank you for watching and hopefully see you next time. Bye!